Hello, happy Wednesday. Okay, so today we're going to be going back to looking at rounding fractions to 2 decimal places. Now we say fractions, but it's going to be really building on that decimal work that we started yesterday. So I'll talk you through it, and then as always, if you need help, ask for some. So it says there, look at this number line. It is divided into tenths. That means that number line is split into 10 parts. Okay, can you see these little lines? Yeah. We say 6.3 rounded to the nearest whole number because is 6 because it is nearer to 6. Okay, so if we're looking on here, 6.1, 6.2, 0.3, 4, 0.5, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7. And that is how our decimal numbers work. We get 10 tenths in a whole. And we're going to be looking at rounding them. So our halfway point will be here, 6.5. And remember, just like when we're rounding integers, whole numbers, when it's 5, we round up. If it's less than 5, we go back. Okay. So there's another example here that we'll have a look at. It says round £4.72 to the nearest pound. Okay, now that's money, which is great because I think this makes it a little bit clearer for us to understand. But it also is a decimal number. It's saying £4.72, okay? And it wants us to round 4.72 to the nearest pound. Now, it suggests, I'm just writing this down on my board and I will not forget my pound sign, £4.72. It suggests drawing a number line to help you. If this is what you want to do, you can absolutely do it this way. There's no problem with that. And that will be 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. That line there will be 4.7. You can see they've gone just after because it's 4.72. 4.8, 4.9, 5. And when we have that number line, it's really clear to see that 4.72 is closer to 5 than it is to 4. So our answer to round £4.72 to the nearest pound would be £5. And it says here, £5. I know this is correct because I can see the difference between 4.72 and 5 is smaller than 4.72 to 4. So 4.72 rounds up to 5. All that's saying is that when we draw it on a number line, we can physically see it's closer to 5 than it is to 4. Now, if you want to draw number lines, that is absolutely fine. You can do that. You must make sure that they're accurate though, and that you're using the squares in the book that you have to go up in the same increments, in the same amounts, because otherwise you won't be able to see what it's closer to if you don't do it well. If you're thinking that you don't really need to do the number line, that's fine too. You do what works for you. And have a little look at question 1. So I think this is going to sound trickier than it is. It's not so bad. So it says for each arrow, write the number it is pointing to and its nearest whole number. So for A, we look for A and we can see that it's here. The first thing we need to work out is what these increments are going up in. So we've got 8 here and 9 here. So I'm going to hazard a guess that it's going to be very similar to this one that the book tells you how to do. So let's just check if we went 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, 8.9, 9. That works perfectly. So we know that it's going up in tenths. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So for A, the first thing we need to do is work out what number that's showing. So again, that will be 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. So you need to write down that A equals 8.6. And it's 8 because we're looking at the numbers between 8 and 9. Okay. Now there is a second part to the section. Once you've found the decimals, the 8.6, it wants us to round these decimals to the nearest whole number. So if we're looking here, we can label this. So we know that's the ones number. We know that is the tenths number. And it's asking us to round to the nearest 1. Okay, so because of that, we know that it's this number that will either stay the same or increase by 1. We know that it's this bit that decides that. So basically, we have to look at that 6 and say, is that closer to 0 or 10? Remember, 5 will be the halfway. So we know that that is going to be closer to 10. So what happens to this number when this is higher. Goes up, doesn't it? So our answer would be 9. Okay, so you've got questions to work through like that, A to E, and you've got to round F to J, and then you've got some more rounding to the nearest pound. Now these ones have both tenths and hundredths, so you're looking at that number together. So there, to round to the nearest pound, which is obviously that 4 digits, you're looking at the 9 and the 8. So you have to decide if 98 is closer to 0 or 100. 32, is that closer to 0 or 100? 50, 0 or 100. What do we do when it's a 5? 52, 0 or 100. 64, 0 or 100. I'll leave it here for now, and if you need any more help, just ask. But remember, that number line is going up in tenths. That's a really good clue for you, okay? Good luck.